Avatar of Rakanishu. Ooh, that hurts. Holy shit! The fuck? What the hell happened? Does he have a reflect or something? Does he have a lightning reflect? The hell? What? G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome to a Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls hardcore death analysis. In this video, I'm going to be analyzing the death of my fledgling level 22 Monk Tyronis. So, this guy didn't live that long, but I thought this warranted a death analysis because it was probably the weirdest Diablo 3 death I've ever seen. And it took us a good half an hour of watching the video and chatting to finally figure out what likely was the thing that killed me. So, you know, we can kind of go back and see why this is a bit confusing. Let's first look at why this is a bit confusing. So, let's see if we can get this to start playing again. Come on, Rakanishu, let's do this, man. Avatar of Rakanishu. Alright, so I'm gonna stop and start a little bit throughout here to sort of show off, you know, how much damage I'm taking from each hit. So Rakanishu, by the way, is is one of these unique quest mobs, and he was a bounty for this particular hardcore run. We've been playing hardcore adventure mode, leveling with viewers, and it's been a lot of fun. But Rakanishu is just a unique mob. He's a homage back to Diablo 2. If you guys played Diablo 2, you probably recognize Rakanishu as the annoying little dude who, when you hit him, puts out lots of lightning damage. And he was always a pain to deal with and was the death of many hardcore characters back in D2. But in D3, I never really felt him to be that much of a risk. And if we kind of watch forwards a little bit here, we can see that, you know, I hit him and he procs his little lightning damage. This is basically what Rakanishu does. He, as he takes damage, he'll shoot out 3 little sparks, which will do a little bit of lightning damage to you. And, you know, you can see my health there from taking 1 hit. You can see it goes down a little bit more there as I take another hit. Goes down a little bit more there as I take another hit. So he also whacks me just there, and I take a little bit of damage from that. Not much though. My Crusader is very tanky. Sorry, my Monk is very tanky at this point. I just kitted him out with, like, you know, vitality gems and things like that. So, not taking too much damage, you know, we get down to half. I'm not getting too worried because all the damage I've been taking is pretty, like, sustainable, like, pretty easy to heal. So I get to half health and I'm like, alright, it's time for heal. So I pop my heal just here. First I use Cyclone Strike, which you can just see going off here. This lightning nova looking effect here is actually the effect from my lightning ruined Cyclone Strike. So we just play forwards a little bit there. You can see that goes off. I also pop the heal. You can see that beam of light is my healing skill, which brings my health back up a little bit over halfway. So I have now, you know, a decent amount of HP left in my HP pool. And then all of a sudden, dead. So over half of my HP, you know, close to 2/3 of my HP in 1 hit. So, you know, analyzing what happened before and then what happened afterwards, a bit confusing, you know. This is a bit confusing to me and to the people watching the stream. Everyone's kind of scratching their heads like, what actually happened here? How did we die? And let's figure this out so that in the future, other hardcore players don't die to this same thing as well, because that's the point of these hardcore death analysis, for you guys to learn from my mistakes or the mistakes of other people's we get clips from. So, what actually happened here? Well, let's actually watch forwards. Let's just go back first a little bit, just back just briefly, just to before the death, and let's take a look at what we did. So I thought, okay, maybe it was the lightning sparks that got me, but, you know, analyzing the damage of the lightning sparks we took, you know, we don't take all that much damage from the lightning sparks. Even Rakanishu's actual hits, even if they crit and did something like 200 or 300% crit multi, his actual damage he gives me is only a little tiny bit of my health pool. So even if he crit, or even if the lightning bolts crit, then that's like still not that much HP. So what actually happened here? So let's go just to before I die. So wait till our health to go to about half. And at this point, a few things happen. So firstly, I use Cyclone Strike, which draws him sort of right next to me. That's what Cyclone Strike does. It draws enemies into you. And this obviously procs a hit on him, and he hits me with some lightning bolts, but that doesn't kill me. I heal up just after it as well, so you see my heal go off. I take a little bit of damage just as my heal goes off from him hitting me there, either with the lightning sparks or with his weapon. I can't quite tell because of the light on the screen. But either the lightning bolts hit me or he hit me, but it didn't do all that much damage. But then, insta-death. Insta-gibbed. Pretty Pretty shocking, right? Pretty shocking. So, in order to figure this out, I didn't actually figure this out for a very long time looking at it the first time around. I had to watch a little bit further into the video to figure out what actually happened after my death. Usually, the death analysis, you don't discover much after the death. But let's watch forwards a bit. Holy shit! So, I'm going to turn down the audio so I stop swearing at you guys. And what am I looking for? Just there. What did Rakanishu just do then? I didn't see that earlier in the fight. Let's see if we can see that again here. Rakanishu comes back up, and he uses a Lightning Nova skill. So, after Rakanishu hits half-life, he unlocks an extra ability. There's lots of mobs that do this in Diablo 3, and Rakanishu's extra ability is Lightning Nova. He doesn't use this at all in the fight before. We can watch from the very beginning here, and we'll see Rakanishu never uses this skill. He just uses his basic attack, and he procs the lightning damage when you hit him. So all of that's pretty manageable. Now the Lightning Nova itself doesn't do all that much damage. Like, people get hit by the Lightning Nova. I'm pretty sure we see, if we kind of watch forwards right to the end of the video, well, just there we saw my ally took a Lightning Nova hit and took very little damage, you know, just a small portion of his health there. He uses another Lightning Nova, a little bit of extra damage. It hits pretty hard, but not certainly as hard as what killed me. So, after sort of connecting all these dots together, I started to go back and look at the Cyclone Strike. I think this is what actually killed me right here, the Cyclone Strike. So why would Cyclone Strike kill me? That doesn't make any sense. Sure, it procced the lightning damage, but that didn't do all that much damage. However, watching Rakanishu's health, slightly over halfway, we hit him here. I use my Cyclone Strike, takes him down. He either takes a hit from the Cyclone Strike or the Cyclone Strike plus the Fireball and goes just below half-life. Just below half-life, into range of him triggering his Lightning Nova. You can see the bubble of my Cyclone Strike just finishing there, so he's just taken, it looked even like a crit from the Cyclone Strike. 13881 was the crit from my Cyclone Strike. So, then what happened was, I died immediately after that. So, he gets to half-life, which is when he can proc the Lightning Nova, and he was just Cyclone Strike just prior to doing it. So here's what I actually think happened. If we go back like just a brief second here, just back a little, just before I die. Let's sort of get the Cyclone Strike going here. Whoops. We can do this. There's the Cyclone Strike. Cyclone Strike hits. Okay, and this is where he is drawn in. Let's just go one frame forwards there. Okay, so Cyclone Strike has hit. You can see the crit damage just there. Cyclone Strike pulls enemies in towards you. Now what I actually think happened here, and this is like process of elimination of every other factor in the game, there's nothing else that could have possibly killed me, is Rakanishu was Cyclone Striked within my body. Rakanishu entered my body and then did a Lightning Nova. Now we can't see the Lightning Nova, however when we look at my corpse flying through the air, you'll see lightning damage on my corpse flying through the air. You see my weapon kind of thrown on the ground there from the force of the explosion, and my poor corpse thrown away, died from lightning. So all of these little pieces connect together, lead me to believe that Rakanishu entered my body, discharged his Lightning Nova. This is not meant to sound as gross as it is, and basically exploded me. He gibbed me with his Lightning Nova. So, we learned a pretty important lesson here, I think, is that it's not just like don't Cyclone Strike Rakanishu. This is like a crazy thing to, you know, keep in mind. But, in general, in action RPGs, it is sometimes possible for clipping to occur when there are movement-based skills. So, either you can leap slam into walls, you've probably seen that sort of thing before, and you can actually sometimes kind of, you know, your character's entity can collide or be in the same cell or be in the same exact location, or, you know, overlapping enough with an enemy mob's entity, and that can cause all sorts of problems. We've seen this in other games, and we see this in Diablo 3, where it could happen to your benefit sometimes. You use a skill that has an AoE, maybe it's like a circle of fireballs or something like that. If you do it from within the mob's cell, or exactly where the mob is standing, the mob will eat all of the fireball damages when usually they'd only take one. So what I think just happened here was Rakanishu was actually right on top of my character, even though it didn't appear so. On the server side of things, Rakanishu was in the same cell as my character. So when the Lightning Nova went off, every single projectile from that Lightning Nova, and you can see there's a lot. So we saw the amount of damage one projectile does to the Witch Doctor, not all that much. We'll see if we can pause the moment where his Lightning Nova actually goes off. He gets up here, and he's just about powering his Lightning Nova up there. You can see the little tail just before it goes off. And there it goes. Okay, so we see, you know, there's probably like a dozen projectiles there. Now, one of those doesn't hit all that much, and it's only really possible for you to be hit by one of those, so it's not a big deal. However, when Rakanishu enters inside of your body and does that, you eat all of the projectiles, and as we saw in this video, get insta-killed. So, just kind of keep your mind out there that these kind of, keep in the back of your mind that these sorts of crazy things can occur. It's pretty hard to avoid like very specific instances like this, but do be aware when there's things that use, you know, you'll at least know not to use Cyclone Strike on Rakanishu when he's around half-life. But being very careful using movement-based skills on enemies that deal AoE, things like that, because it can lead to one-shots. So there's probably a few instances of mobs in the game that can do this, and it's just one of those crazy things that's pretty interesting to see, and maybe just something to keep in the back of your mind. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.